talk about how to use the downline feature in OilyTools and how it differs slightly from how you might be navigating the downline in the virtual office. And we'll go through what these little icons mean in the actual list view and how you can leverage the downline viewer to maybe make care calls or stay in contact with people, or how to even maybe find an upline leader for someone who gives you a call and you'd like to find someone closer to them. So we'll start by looking at the list. So right now I've got this list of Jane Does. This is obviously data that's been hidden so that we can look at just the feature set and not necessarily focus on particular people or particular numbers. What you see when you first open the downline viewer is a list of your level 1 people. Now I'll kind of describe this in the same way you might be thinking about the VO, but in the VO, whenever you look at your downline, you see your level 1 people. And if you want to see their level 1 people, you click the plus sign. In the mobile space, that type of metaphor, which we call a tree, it just doesn't work well in mobile. So the way you navigate the downline in OilyTools is that you click on an individual in your level 1. So I'm going to click on Jane Doe, and it takes me to her member detail page. And I'm going to go over this member detail page in just a moment, but just to talk about the navigation aspect, on this member detail page is a downline button. Clicking that downline button is effectively the same thing as clicking the plus sign in the VO. It's expanding their downline to see their level 1 person. So you can then click on another member and click downline again, and you're basically traversing through that downline. And you can get pretty deep in the downline, and you can either click back a bunch of times, or you'll see this button, and if you didn't know what that button represented, it's like a reset button that takes you all the way back to the beginning. So I'm just going to click that button to take me all the way back up to my level 1. So that's how you just navigate down through the downline viewer. There's also this refresh button. Now this is here because let's pretend you have the downline viewer open and you close the application and you're working your business, or maybe you're at a movie and you come back and open OilyTools, and we've since had a data run. The refresh button here just ensures that you've got the most accurate information that you're looking at on the phone from the last time we did a data pull. So it's not doing a real-time pull from Young Living. It's making sure that what you're seeing is the most current information from the OilyTools server. When we look at each individual row in this downline, we see this little OilyTools, or it's really an oil drop logo, and it's got two states. One state is this dark state, and the other state's a light gray state. And we'll see if we can find, there's an example. So you can see some light gray versions of it here. That just represents whether the person has OilyTools or not. So if you see the dark oil drop, it means they have OilyTools. If it's light gray, it means they don't have OilyTools. The next row, you'll see a graphic and a little icon that represents their rank in Young Living, their current rank. Remember, your rank resets every month in Young Living. So you'll see in the very beginning of the month that all of these are a light color, this little star, actually not the star, but none. It's just a light gray star to show you that this person doesn't have a rank yet. And as they progress in their rank, you'll start seeing a silver logo, or icon rather, or the gold icon, or the executive icon. And these match the same iconography that you see in the VO to try to give us some continuity between OilyTools and the virtual office. You'll also see this blue checkbox. This just represents the ER processed flag for the member. If the checkbox is checked, it means that the ER order has been flagged as processed in the virtual office. If it's not checked, it means that it's not processed. And just a little tip here, I've seen people frequently ask why they don't have their Rising Star Team bonus in OilyTools. Why hasn't it awarded the Rising Star Team bonus? Because they've got a tracking number and their ER points have already been shown on their account. But when you look in the VO, for whatever reason, their ER order is not flagged as processed. So sometimes that flag is a little bit delayed beyond when the order actually ships, I guess, from Young Living. So it's just a little tip to take note of. If you don't see your Rising Star bonus and you think you should have it, make sure that these check boxes are checked on yourself and those people in your level 1 that you are expecting to help you qualify for Rising Star. You'll get their current rank, what level that individual is, what generation they are. You'll see their sponsor, their enroller, what date they enrolled on, and then some other useful pieces of information like what's their OGV, what's their PV, what's their ER day, what's their ERPV. You may sometimes here see a star after the ERPV. That's just another indicator if the ER has been flagged as processed. I'm pretty sure it doesn't show in this list view, but when you're looking at the member detail screen, since there is no checkbox, you may see that little star, and that just means that the ER is still not flagged as processed. And then you'll get the total number of members in that person's organization. You have a search feature, so the search feature lets you search for a member in your organization by first name, by last name, by member number. It doesn't have to be in the exact same order. So in this case, I could type Doe or I could type Jane and get back a list of people in my organization that have a matching name as Jane or Doe or whatever their member number is. We're going to hop in and go to a member detail page because I think this page is really useful. This list view that you get in the downline and the member detail page that you see, we use this in a lot of places in the application intentionally so that you get kind of this common view of people in your organization, and the navigation is the same no matter what you're looking at. If you're looking at a downline view or you're looking at a report result, it's the same type of view that you get. What's great about this member detail page is you've got these 3 quick ways to communicate with your member. You can either call them, which uses the primary phone that's on their account. You could text them, which also uses the primary phone. And I know that there's a little assumption here on our part that the primary phone that's being provided is a cell number. So if you message them and it doesn't work, it could be that just the primary number that they provided is not a cell number. We've actually had pretty good success that most people are providing a cell number as their primary number, so it hasn't really caused that big of an issue. Email currently doesn't work. It's not a OilyTools issue. It's an issue with once OilyTools moved to the new API provided by Young Living, they forgot to add the email field in our API, and they have not had a chance to get around to adding that back. As soon as they add it back, this button will begin to work again where you can actually email directly to a member right from OilyTools. You get their activation date, member number, last order date, sponsor and enroller, which both are clickable. You can click on these 2 things, and a lot of people don't know that, and it will take you to the member detail page for this sponsor or the member detail page for the enroller. So it's just a quick way to hop over because sometimes if you're doing strategic placement, these 2 may not even be the same person, and it allows you to navigate really quickly. You get some of those same stats that you see on the list, like the PV and OGV and team size. If an address is provided, you'll see that there's an address for them. Like here's an example of an address here. And if the address is provided, you can actually click map and it'll open the map application on your phone so that you can actually go see where they live and maybe get directions if you need it. You have 3 buttons at the bottom: upline, downline, and stats. If you haven't already watched the stats video, go look at that. It's a little long. It's like 15 or 16 minutes. It goes through all the stats. But the important thing about this button is that you can see those same statistics that you see for yourself for any member in your downline. So it's a very powerful way to really coach and mentor someone. When you get a team member that calls you and says, I'm in Silver and 6 and I really need help. I'm kind of struggling getting to Silver and 6. One of the first things you should do is pull them up in OilyTools, open their stats, and really look at where they're struggling in their organization. Don't just look at their level 1 people and say, oh, well, you need to get more OGV in this leg, because they probably don't have the OGV in that leg because maybe they're missing something in their business that they really want to learn more about, or they need help with, or they're struggling with, that you can use the stats to figure out where they are struggling and maybe come up with a great game plan to help them grow their business, not just for Silver, but for many more future ranks in Young Living. Downline, we've already talked about, is equivalent to clicking that plus sign and expanding this person's downline. And upline, I'm going to show the power of that by navigating down through the downline a little bit because I think it'll help show the feature a little better. So let's say I'm deep in the downline and I'm looking at a member detail page. If I click the upline button, it's going to give me every person in their upline all the way up to myself, to me. So let's pretend this is me. So I'm Jane Doe, I'm a diamond, and I've got a gold leader here, and then an executive, and then a senior star, and then a star. I use this feature a lot, and Christy uses this feature a lot whenever we get a call from a leader that we don't typically work with, or maybe we haven't ever worked with them. One of the first things we like to do is search for them in OilyTools. So I'm going to search for, Jane, and I'm going to get back a bunch of Jane Does, and I'm going to click on Jane Doe. And what I'm going to do is look at Jane Doe's upline and try to find a leader between me and Jane that's maybe closer to her that could work with her more on a daily basis than she's getting right now. So it's a really powerful feature. It's great for you to say, in this example, when we pulled up Jane Doe, her sponsor is a gold member. So I'm gonna try to direct Jane to her gold sponsor, and I may even contact that gold sponsor, say, hey, Jane contacted me. Here's what she's struggling with. Let's figure out how we can help her, and I'm gonna let you kind of own whatever that plan is to help her get to where her to meet her goal. So that's what the upline feature is for. Go back to the member detail page. So we've gone over upline, downline stats, address. I think that's it. Now you'll see this same look and feel whenever we look at reports later, and it's intentional, so you get the same kind of continuity between downline and looking at a list of people in reports, where the member detail page is also in the same format. So hopefully this has shown you a little bit more about how you can use the downline feature in OilyTools to navigate your team and learn more about what all these nice little icons represent when you're looking at your list of people. If you have any questions, let us know. Well, that's it for this video. We look forward to sharing more videos with you guys in the future.